I know a Venezuelan. I know him personally. I love this guy. When I arrived in Venezuela, he had a full lifetime guaranteed pension from the largest employer in the country, PDVSA, Petroleum de Venezuela. And he was earning effectively like $150,000 a year equivalent. He was living well. He had a beautiful house, beautiful car, beautiful wife, worked for PDVSA, had a pension, retired, lovely human. In the time I was in Venezuela, his guaranteed lifetime pension went from being about $150,000 of purchasing power, went down by 66%. When I left Venezuela, he had effectively $50,000 of purchasing power. It made a mess in the 3 years I was there. Unfortunately, that was not the whole story. When you study inflation and when you study economies whose currencies have inflated, you'll see a lot of charts like this. This chart is saying how long does it take for your money to lose 99% of its value? And what it's saying is Venezuela lost 99% of the value of the money from 2010 through 2012. And then they lost 99% of their value again during this set of brackets. These brackets are all lost 99% of their value. They lost 99% of their value again from 2012 to 2016. And then they lost it again and again and again and again because Venezuela got into a cycle of printing more money, which led to more inflation. They got into a cycle of more borrowing, which led to more inflation. A key economic indicator in Venezuela, the price of oil, went into the ground. They borrowed more money, they printed more money, and they experienced hyperinflation. And so they are still in a horrific situation where their money is practically useless now. It has been gut-wrenching to watch because I love some people in Venezuela. That gentleman I talked about while I was in Venezuela went from $150,000 of income after 2012. Remember, I left Venezuela in 2003. In 2012, his income was probably worth about $1,500 because it had lost 99% of its value. And then that number just went down and down and down and down. That $150,000 a year pension, again, it's not adjusting well for COLA, cost of living, because the government has never admitted, hey, this is all going terribly, terribly wrong. That $150,000 of pension when I got to Venezuela is now worth some hilariously tiny fraction of a penny. It's been heartbreaking to watch. Now, the immediate response would be, but Jeremy, we are not in Venezuela. The dollar is much stronger than the bolivar, and we're really not at risk of that. My sentiment to that would be we have experienced a 96% drop in the valuation of the dollar already. From 2013 to 1913 to 2017, the dollar has lost 96% of its value. Anyone who was alive from the 30s on can testify to that very directly. The US dollar has lost value over time. From 2000 to 2022, there's a lot of different sources that say the dollar has lost almost 42% of its value just over the last 20 years. So we are experiencing inflation. It's just one of those subtle things that subtly erodes your buying power and everything gets more expensive. If you remember, 20 years ago, a new car was $20,000, $25,000. Now a new car is $45,000 to $65,000. If you enjoyed that conversation, what I think you'll really enjoy is the longer conversation that we had on the subject. This is just one small piece. That conversation was about an hour and 15 minutes. If you want to see the whole conversation and really get into the nuance, here's the link.